Hey everyone, it's Ed Kime from over at Quantcha, and welcome to a quick hit live performance that we've got going on today. We are excited to announce the launch of our E-Trade integration. This has been a long time coming, and we're really happy to be able to share this with you today. As you may expect, this integration enables you to access all of your E-Trade account and data privileges directly from Quantcha. This is an important milestone because now, for the first time, we're enabling you to do things like get your portfolios automatically imported, place and manage orders, as well as to get those data privileges. Now, it uses an Oauth workflow, which is an important thing to understand because it means that you never give anyone else your credentials. This is an important security consideration. So when you want to link your E-Trade and Quantcha accounts, you log into E-Trade and you authorize Quantcha to access it. And that all starts in Quantcha, where you click our link through to get your account linked up. And then once you're set up, you don't have to worry about the integration after that. We just keep everything fresh for you, and you come to the site, and we automatically have your portfolio data update and so forth. And it's just as important as you can also revoke our access at any time. So if you decide that you don't want the integration to be in place and you don't want our software to be able to access your content, you just unlink the accounts and that's it. Just walk away. Finally, one quick caveat to note is that most of the functionality that we demo about the integration requires a Quantcha subscription. The most specific thing here is that you need a Quantcha subscription in order to be able to access the data privileges from your E-Trade account. So if you and E-Trade have the agreement in place where you get real-time data, if you link your account with Quantcha, your E-Trade and Quantcha accounts, and you have real-time data from E-Trade, then the data that shows up for you in Quantcha will be that real-time data we pull in from the API on your behalf that shows there from E-Trade, for as long as your account is linked. So without further ado, let's get into a demonstration of some of the cool stuff here. Now I'm going to start off on Quantcha.com, and I'm using my E-Trade test account here. This one actually I will link up to my real live E-Trade account. And right now it's a subscribed account on Quantcha, which is, as I mentioned before. And it's not linked right now, so I'm just using the fallback Quantcha data, which is delayed. And in this case, you'll notice from my portfolio in the dropdown, I only have my Quantcha paper book. But what I can do is from the portfolio dropdown, I can select Manage Link, and I can see the different brokerages where we support. I'm going to click Link Now in the E-Trade row, and it'll bring me over, and you'll notice I'm already logged into the E-Trade account, so it didn't ask me to log in, but otherwise it would. And you'll see we're actually on etrade.com here, and it just walks through the things that you're going to grant access to, as we mentioned, account information, order details, quote information, and alerts, which we actually don't use any of the E-Trade alerts, but that's part of the package for accepting. So when you accept that, it grants us privilege to do that behind the scenes. Now you notice you're back on Quantcha right now. We already have a token that we're allowed to use to make requests on your behalf. This is my E-Trade account, and you can see just a couple positions in here, mostly used for testing, but some profit along the way, which has been fun. And every time you navigate through, when you get to this page, we will load your fresh E-Trade account data. So that's an important thing, is that no more importing data into the profile. So let's kind of step off real quick, and let's go to the options search engine. So I'm going to look for Microsoft Trade, just because I can. And one quick thing to note is that at this time, E-Trade doesn't support, the API rather, doesn't support the intraday minute bars. So we don't have more than daily data that we can share with you. If they do add support for minutes, we will integrate that in, and you'll get that parity level with the other brokerages we integrate with. But for now, it's not an option, unfortunately. So trading with Microsoft, let's say I'm bullish on the stock, and I can see from the Quantcha search expiration layout, there's the expiration closest to earnings without passing it. So I'm just going to say I'm bullish. I want to trade something that closes before earnings. This will give me all the results, and we're not going to spend time here going through the features of Quantcha that are generic, but we're just going to go specifically to the stuff. Like I'll just take this first trade, click through to analyze it, and then from here I can actually send it directly to a trade ticket. And from the drop down, you'll get all the E-Trade accounts that are linked under that E-Trade profile. In this case, there's just one for me, so I'm going to click that. It brings me to the trade ticket here. It's pre-populated. It's already done all the work for me to line it up. I can see the net debit. I can see the midpoint and market. In this case, I'm not really eager to get that filled at the moment. It is after hours, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to preview the order. I get details on what it is. In this case, we know it's 101.33, so that's $1.30 for commissions in this case, which is 65 cents a contract from E-Trade because it's the agreement that I have with them, and probably 3 cents in fees along the way. And so I go ahead and I'll submit the order. That goes through, they're placing the order, it comes back, order number 68 for me, and I can now see this here. I can track it throughout the day, or I can decide I want to change it. I can change the duration, or I can change the pricing I'm willing to pay. All that gets updated for me, and as you can see, I'm moving along and I'm managing those orders. Also, if there's orders you placed on etrade.com or through other tools, they'll show up here and vice versa. So things you place here, it's all centralized in eTrade in your account, and you can access it from anywhere you can access that data. So having gone through that a bit, let's go ahead and cancel the order just to show that the circle of life, everything comes through completely, and that'll take a moment to just to register here. Now, there's a ton of other features that we have around portfolio stuff. For example, we always have our book management functionality, which is pretty cool. So, for example, I have a Zynga covered call here, and so this is using the fresh data from eTrade. As you can see, the call is struck here at 10. It's way out of the money, so therefore it doesn't look too interesting from a trading point of view. At this point, all the money's kind of been eked out of there. So maybe what I want to do is maybe I'm looking to roll it for this week. So I'll look at this expiration, and maybe I want to roll it down to $9.50, which is a little closer, or maybe $9 if I wanted to get assigned. I click that, and I can see here now I've got the updated P&L that looks like maybe I can make a few bucks. Probably not going to actually trade this, but the important thing is if I like that trade, my changes are tracked. I click trade. It brings me again back to this eTrade connected ticket that I can now move forward and say, all right, place this trade based on those credentials there. No more moving back and forth, switching tabs, browser stuff. Super, super smooth and easy to use. So hope you check that out. Of course, all the screeners we have, our stock screener as well as things like the covered call screener, this is using, now this has eTrade quote data in there. So that'll all be fresh and up to date to the minute as you come through, as well as our charting. Another thing that's really neat about portfolio stuff is a feature we bring, which is around our events. So you can, or rather our alerts. So you can create alerts about your portfolio metrics. Like, for example, if you want to keep a beta weighted delta target, you can create a portfolio alert for that when you exceed the bounds. We can also create things like assignment alerts. Now, I like the assignment alerts personally because what I can say is an assignment alert means when I pick, in this particular case, I'm going to say within, let's say, 1 day of the expiration or ex-dividend date of options I own, tell me if any of them are at least 25% likely to be exercised or assigned. So this will give me an alert. I save it, and I have this monitoring on my behalf. So Quantcha service will go in the back end. It's going to watch your account for you and let you know if any of that comes up. And in the event, for example, I'll take an old alert that I got for another account. If it does trigger, it'll say, this other one I had, it says following options are within 1 day of expiration and have at least 25% likelihood of assignment, and then it lists the options that I'm worried about. So then I can go in and I can see that they're all at expiration. This was on August 14th. So then I can go in and I can handle those positions. And so you can do that. You can also go further along and say, hey, I want to add a second condition here. So tell me only on, let's say, Fridays between let's say a specific hour range, and this is all Eastern time, but I could say between 3 and 4 p.m., if I have, in this case, if I have any options in this situation at that time, let me know, which is pretty cool, because then it'll just tell you, like, end of day on Friday, hey, heads up, you didn't handle these positions that are about to get assigned or exercised. So that's just a couple cool things there. There's plenty more to look at for you to check out as an eTrade user. Now, in addition to the portfolio management stuff, a lot of people are familiar with their history. So you can get a nice flat list of your history, which is really nothing different than you get elsewhere. And people often like to take this, and I know they pull it into Excel, or they try to manage it to understand and learn about the trades they've done in the past. Well, we take that and we do the work for you as a part of our performance, which is we ingest all of your history, just that flat history list, even if you didn't do any of that stuff in Quantcha, and we build these reports for you that tell you, hey, your trade strategies, we've inferred a bunch of trade strategies like covered calls or short call trades, short puts, long stocks, spreads, and so on. And we've figured out, hey, you're trading against these 4 stocks, you're trading using these 5 strategies, here's your distribution, here's how you've performed, your winners, versus losers. And then for the trades that have won, here's how your underlyings have been, here's how your strategies have been for the options. And then we can see details about the winners and losers and so on. So that's pretty cool stuff there, because it takes away a lot of the work for you to learn how to become better at investing. But in addition, you can also go to the Trades tab and see how we've actually inferred those trades. And this is a little more sophisticated than just open and close positions. So if we take some of these, let me find a good example here. We actually track you through rolls and scales and so on. In this case, here's a good one. We have a covered call here. So on August 6th, we bought 100 shares and we sold a call against it. Then that expired on August 7th, as expected. And then August 11th, the platform noticed that we sold a call for the 21st. So it assumed that this was a roll-in, and it was effectively a delayed roll of this expired call into this one, which is some pretty cool stuff, because then that's probably what you were trying to do there, and then eventually that call expired, and now you're just holding stock. And so you're able to follow that over the run and see how these trades move. And we've recently added support for a slightly more sophisticated trade. One thing that a lot of folks are looking at these days is called the wheel, which is where what you do is you start off and you sell a put. Like in this case, we sold 14 put contracts in a different account on June 10th, and they were struck for June 21st. Now, they ended up being assigned on the 21st, in which case we had to buy 1,400 shares of SPY. So we buy that, and then we came back on the following Monday, and what we did is we sold some calls against it for Monday that expired. And along the way with the wheel, the idea is you sell some puts, and you get the credit for the puts until you get assigned. You keep rolling them, and then when you get assigned, you sell calls until you get assigned, and so on. So we sold some there. We resumed a roll-in on the 25th to sell for the Wednesday calls at $292.50. And then we got a little credit there. And as you can see, we're just chipping away. Like we get a little bit of credit, a little more credit, a little more credit. And then eventually on the 28th, they were assigned at $292. We sold our shares as part of the assignment, and we end up with a nice little profit along the way. And you can see if you do this, you can make some profits depending on the trades you're dealing with. Some of them can be big, some of them can be down. Also depending on whether you're doing it for test purposes or for profit. So that's a bit of our history and performance. Now, the last thing I want to check in here is I want to show you how easy it is. Let's say you're in your portfolio and you decide that you don't want the platform integration anymore. From the portfolio dropdown, you can come to Manage Your Link. You can just click here to unlink the account. That basically cuts it off. And now when you go to your portfolio, you're now back on Quantcha data. Your link has been removed, and we are no longer able to access your E-Trade account. And then, of course, you can come back in and link it again if you want, in and out as much as you like. And so that's a quick whirlwind tour around our integration with E-Trade. And so we're pretty excited about this. We hope you check it out if you have an E-Trade account. Of course, we still support, we've got TD Ameritrade, we've got Tradier and Score Priority already linked up. We're working on a couple others. Continue to send us your feedback at hello@quantcha.com. If there are brokerages that we don't support that you'd like to get in place, please let me know. Hit us up at hello@quantcha.com. Again, that's a big one. And in the meantime, good luck and good hunting.